All right, we are live in Wichita, Kansas. It's 11 a.m., January 26th, last show for January. Can't believe we're already coming up on February. Next week, though, the first show of February and then the first show of the month, each month after that, we'll go back and look at the prior month's gun thefts and catalytic converters as well. So we'll probably only do those once a month unless something specific comes out that we need to address or get the information out on. So next week, first week of February, we'll come back. We'll look at January as a whole for guns that were stolen from cars and catalytic converters. So with me again today, Charlie Davidson, one of our public information officers. Charlie, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, Officer Charlie Davidson, Wichita Police Department, Public Information Office. Glad to be here again. I can't, like Lieutenant said, last week of January, we are 11 months from Christmas, right? Well, I guess 10 months and 30 days or whatever. But, yeah, we're 11 months from Christmas. So appreciate you being here. Again, go Chiefs, right? We talked about Go Chiefs last week. Congrats on their win. You may see some officers out wearing some Chief apparel. The Chief of Police and executive staff actually approved officers to utilize in uniform Chiefs hats or Chief face masks on their road to the Super Bowl for a donation to the American Cancer Society. And then non-uniformed officers or non-uniformed staff can utilize T-shirts and hoodies and things like that. So I didn't grab mine this morning. I did donate to the American Cancer Society. So really a great way, fun way, lighthearted way to raise some money for a very serious cause. You know, cancer has affected a lot of members of the Wichita Police Department and this community in one way or another. Sorry, Karen, talking to her early about Christmas, she said. So I apologize.
Yeah, I agree with Karen, and just shut that Christmas talk down already. And Dana Wyckoff says, "Go Chiefs." Hi, Dana. How are you? All right, let's get January 26th. Let's get through our PowerPoint, talk some crime stats here. And I need to use my mouse. I keep forgetting. And okay, I am unmuted. Yeah. Yeah, Charlie will be addressing comments and stuff while I have the PowerPoint up. If you watched in the past, I can't see comments coming in while I've got the PowerPoint up. Charlie can see them on his end, so he'll address those as they come in. Larceny from autos, 11% decrease in the last week from the week prior over here on the left-hand side of the screen. Year to date, over on the right-hand side, we're up 13%, 491 larcenied autos compared to 434 from last year. A large part of that is going to be our catalytic converter thefts that we continually talk about. We're trying to do some enforcement action there. We actually have a couple of good suspects we're looking at, and hopefully something happens there. I do have a suspect vehicle involved in some catalytic converter thefts. I'll show you here in a little bit. Hotspots for our larceny from autos over the last 28 days. You can see a pretty good one. Kellogg and Washington, right along Kellogg here and to the north. Several larcenied autos have occurred there, and even branches out coming up north and west from there through the Old Town area, up along Central and the core downtown area along Market, Broadway, Topeka, Emporia. So several larcenied autos have occurred in that region, causing a hotspot to pick up and alert us. Another hotspot, larcenied autos, last 28 days, we're looking at Webb, clear out east, and Harry Street. So south of Kellogg, and here's Turnpike running through there, but along Harry to the north and west of Webb. Of course, there's a lot of apartment complexes out in that area, and a lot of residences and a lot of businesses as well. So we tend to see more larcenied autos just occur in those areas just because of the amount of people that are coming together. Auto thefts, over the last 7 days, we've seen a 14% decrease from the prior 7 days. Last week, we had 56 autos that were reported stolen compared to 65 from the week before. Coming clear over here to the right, though, we're up 70% year to date compared to this time frame last year. 211 auto thefts have occurred compared to 124 reported last year. Now, that 70% increase, we're actually down. Last week, we were up 82%, I believe, and the week before, we were up 84%. So we are seeing a slight decrease there, but this 70% increase is causing a great concern, and we need to do something about that. We see it across the board. More cars are being left running with the keys in them, or just keys being left in cars. We're seeing some repeat offenders, rental cars, kind of a broad spectrum there. So do what you can. Don't leave your cars running, and don't leave your keys in your car or a spare key fob. An auto theft hotspot last 28 days were along Broadway and Pawnee, so south central part of Wichita to the east of Broadway and south of Pawnee. Of course, you do have the Walmart up in this area. There's several strip malls. There's a lot of apartment complexes right back in this area, or a couple of large apartment complexes that come together there south and east of Pawnee and Broadway. So, and you can kind of see several other auto thefts that have occurred just branching out from that area. Another hot spot, this one's not labeled real well, but here is Seneca over here on the right-hand side of your screen, Kellogg running across the bottom, and Meridian over in here. So Kellogg and Meridian area just to the north, you see a pretty good hot spot picking up. At least 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cars right in this area over the last 28 days stolen. Of course, they branch out pretty good to the east and the north. Another hot spot picked up right over here on the far right-hand side of that map, right along the river. And that should be where Seneca comes across, turns into Central up here to the north. Again, we've got a large apartment complex or two right in this area. And where we see those apartment complexes, there's a lot of people, a lot of cars, and more auto thefts, more larceny to autos tend to follow. Auto recovery zone, we've recovered several auto thefts in the area of Maple and Meridian right here, Kellogg and Meridian, kind of that same area where we had the auto theft trend happening out. We're also recovering them. So it could be they're getting stolen and driven around for a little bit and then brought back and abandoned in the same area that they've been stolen in. So possibly somebody living in this area. If you have any information down there at the bottom of the screen, there's a phone number and an email address as well. You can contact us. Our residential burglaries over the last week, down 30%. We had 23 residential burglaries. This is on the left-hand side of your screen compared to 33 the week before. And year to date, we are down 5%. 86 burglaries have occurred this year compared to 91 last year. In the middle, here's our month to month, last 28 days compared to the 28 days prior. So we're up 1%. We had 108 in the last 28 days compared to 107 from the prior. Residential burglary hotspot, last 28 days. Here's Kellogg running along up here east to west at the north end of your map. South of that, so between Lincoln and Kellogg along Edgemore and Oliver area here, at least 3 burglaries have occurred that caused this hotspot to pick up, and a few burglaries down here to the south along Harry and Edgemore as well. Again, there's a lot of duplexes, a lot of single residences, apartment complexes in these areas. Another residential burglary hotspot last 28 days, we're at Pawnee and Hillside. So really just to the west and south a little bit of where we were with the prior hotspot. We see 2, 4, 6 burglaries that have occurred, picking up on this hotspot in the Pawnee and Hillside area. And that's the end of the slideshow PowerPoint for today. Charlie.
All right. We just a couple things. Looks like my wife jumped on this morning. She's referring back to our Christmas comment. She's making sure that I got her list. Something I just gotta. You know what I do is I take notes and I keep them on my phone, but I don't tell her where, or she'd be looking at my phone trying to find these notes to find out what she's getting for Christmas. So always keeping a list. Also, Sheena she's asking about catalytic converters, business that she's worked for. We didn't hit on that this morning. I know of. This is still ongoing issue, yes, or What do you got to say on that?
Oh yeah, and they're definitely up for the year still. So next week at the first of each month, we'll go back and look at the 28 days prior. So next week I'll have a map for January that shows where catalytic converters were stolen and how many cases we had. And we'll do the same for guns stolen from vehicles. And while we're on that subject, let me bring up, I do have a catalytic converter theft that occurred in the Old Town area. And we had some surveillance, or a surveillance photo of a possible suspect truck involved. This looks like a kind of a goldish colored Chevy Silverado extended cab that was involved in this catalytic converter theft down in the Old Town area. Looks like it's got standard rims on it. I don't really see too many other
extended cab.
Yeah, extended cab. Looks like a regular. Well, I can't tell on the bed if it's short bed or a long bed, and we can't. It's not good enough to make out the tag on that vehicle. But that is one vehicle came up in a catalytic converter theft that occurred within the last week in the Old Town area.
Looks like Sheena's adding to that. Said they had 6 vehicles hit in one night. So hopefully, Sheena, your business has filed a police report in regards to this, so that we're aware of those and we can continue to investigate and see what information we can develop from there. If not, please have them call 268-4221, which is police case desk. File that police report so our investigators can continue to follow up on that case as well. All right, Tucker was asking about construction zones and speeding. We do often monitor construction zones, school zones, many different type of areas. There is a lot of different areas where we have individuals bring concerns to us of possible speeding, so we try to address all those. I know Kellogg is something that is something, the high accident locations is something that we address. Tucker, if there's an area that you believe there's speeding going on, you can always contact the Wichita Police Department, email policeweb@wichita.gov. Again, that's police, POLICE, web, WEB, at wichita.gov. Provide us the details, when, where that information is occurring, or that speeding is occurring, and we can send it to the correct officers so that they can then follow up a little bit further on that as well.
Well, I just add real quick, Charlie, on that. Several years ago, probably around 15 years ago, the traffic section of the Wichita Police Department was disbanded and kind of just went into melded in with all the patrol bureaus, and there was no specific traffic enforcement unit. A couple of years ago, Chief Ramsey brought back a traffic section that's dedicated just to working, traffic violations and traffic complaints. So I think over the last couple of years, we've seen a tremendous effort there, and definitely more enforcement. I can tell you, I have seen, even myself, witness along Kellogg, especially officers out there doing enforcement a lot more than we have seen in the past. So
yeah.
I think it's one of those. It's just a slow transformation, just getting back out there. And with that traffic section as well, we saw the chief bring back motorcycles.
Correct. Yep.
So, I mean, that was, they'd been gone for 15, 20 years, something like that from the police department.
It was 2000. So when they came back in 2017, I believe.
Probably somewhere. Yeah, it was a couple of years ago.
Soon after Chief Ramsey came, and traffic enforcement or traffic safety is a very high priority for the Wichita Police Department. One of probably the top complaints we get in neighborhoods is speeding. So it is something that we definitely look to address and work with our traffic units. So Tucker, thank you for the question, and please send that information again, policeweb@wichita.gov, and we'll get it to the correct individuals to look into it further as well. All right, Sherry's saying crackdown on auto thefts and break-ins. I know we had what you were saying, we were up 70% this time as compared to last year. What do you think? I mean, a lot of these auto thefts, are they joyriding? Are they utilizing, for scraps, for money, or what do you think the push is?
Yeah, we see them. There's kind of a broad spectrum, really. And there, some of it is due to COVID. More people are out and about. People are wearing masks. And I think we've seen a little bit of an increase just in larcenies overall, because masks conceal identities. We've seen a little bit of repeat offenders, mainly due just because of jail, the Sedgwick County Jail's COVID protocols, as well as the DA office and the Sedgwick County courts and city courts, even just a broad overall COVID precautions and safety measures have been brought in. I've seen an increase in rental, auto theft rental cars being stolen, a small bit of repeat offenders. I've seen a few cars stolen and just for the catalytic converter. The car is stolen and it's recovered and the catalytic converter's cut off of it. So, and we find them in the same state that they're stolen in. We find them, with some damage, we find them with a lot of damage, or we find them, stripped. So we find them in all different states, and it's just a broad spectrum. So we and then also an increase in cars that are left running. Cold outside, people go out, start their car in the morning, leave it running to get warm, and it only takes a second for someone to hop in it and take off. We've seen an increase in those, as well as an increase just in people leaving their keys in their cars and their key fobs. So that's never a good thing. Tell your friends and family if they do that, not to do that. And it just surprises me time after time when I see somebody that has left their car running outside of a convenience store while they just run inside to grab something. Never a good idea. So I think we could cut down on our numbers there a little bit just by stopping doing that.
Yeah, I think taking those few extra minutes or those little things to prevent a bigger problem, I should say, to not allow yourself to become a victim. They're preventable. Some of these are preventable.
Yeah, and real quick, I see a question from Steve Johnson as well. He says, is auto theft a misdemeanor charge? I thought it was a felony back in the late 90s. It is a felony. It's tricky to get the felony charge. Majority of them will end up with misdemeanor charges just because we have to show, if the car is stolen on Monday and it's found on Friday, we have to show that the person that was driving it on Friday is the person that stole it on Monday. And that's the trick. It's all, and then a lot of times too, Steve steals the car and he gives it to Johnny and Johnny gives it to Susan. And then we stop Susan and she doesn't even know the car was stolen. So that happens quite a bit. And it's just, we can get felony charges. It's just tricky to do. So it is a felony or a misdemeanor, but it just depends on who we catch in the car and catching people in the car. Majority of cars are recovered, abandoned. No one's in them. So
I think that's why we constantly are encouraging. I mean, when you see our news conference briefings here on the Crimecast or other media interviews, we're constantly asking individuals to call us with information. A lot of time information we receive from the public can help us build a stronger case or build a more on that case. So we're asking the community, if you have anything, again, the ticker's at the bottom, crimelink, wpd@outlook.com, or investigators 268-4407. And that goes from auto theft clear to, homicides, burglaries, robberies, any type of information you have on a case. If somebody share information with you and you can provide that to us, it helps us as we continue to investigate to keep this community safe. It looks like Brad here, and we had some others. I think Sheena, or is it Nicole was saying that they need stricter laws on auto thefts. Again, our policymakers are made by our elected officials. So if you feel like there need to be stricter laws on auto theft or whatever the case may be, reach out to your elected officials, your state representatives, and provide them with information on your thoughts. That's what they're elected to do, to help advocate for you as the community.
all right. Well, I think we can wrap this one up for this week's episode of Crimecast.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think if I had anything else. Darlene is saying there's a motorcycle parked somewhere. I can't understand what she's saying. We can check. You can call 911 and have a person go check that, or if I can get the address from you here, we can have an officer go check wherever that's at.
Okay. Look, AJW, he's asking about the blue lights at Kellogg and it was Kellogg and Rock. We haven't done a follow-up on that yet. I know that we launched that late last year in efforts to help improve our abilities to monitor that location to help keep commuters through there safe. So you know what? I'm going to jot down a note right now. AJW. I'm not sure what your name is, but AJW. And I will follow up on that and see what kind of information I can get up on the blue lights. So appreciate the question.
All right. Well, thanks everybody that tuned in, and see you next week, next Tuesday.
Yes.
Let me see what that date will be.
No Chiefs.
11 in the morning, February 2nd.
February already. February 2nd. No Chiefs this Sunday, though. We got to wait till after the next Crimecast, but that's all right.
All right. Again, thanks everybody that tuned in, and stay safe, Wichita. Keep yourself safe. Watch your neighbors, and we'll see you next time.